track of how soon they remediate that issue. Which to me is great, because, if you're getting 5 pothole complaints over on Helm, you don't have to fix the potholes, you can go fix Helm, There's a bigger issue there. So just getting some of our processes cleared up and improved. This to me as a COO is about product, people, and process. And our product in the city of Waco should be excellent city services. And I'm convinced that we have the right people in place. I think our processes need to be improved across the board. So in the last couple of years, we've spent a lot of money on systems and technology and software. So I think you'll see the fruits of that effort kind of coming forth here in the next year or 2 years. The next thing that becomes possible is quality of life improvements. And I think that over the last 8 years, we've seen, we're likely to have a world-class park in Cameron Park. And the fact that we've now made that a cool place to be, a safe place to be, in addition to other parks we're creating, Floyd Casey, that's a new park that's going in, all inclusive, it's a $25 million park. A new park going in China Spring, just last week. We're breaking ground on Bells Hill Park. Chip Gaines had a big deal there with the Bobcat. Destinations, you see the penguins there. A lot of things we're doing. The grand opening for the penguins is going to be in August. Then we're opening the veterinary education building there in October. So as folks come to visit the silos, the whole Magnolia effect, we want them to stick around not just for the 2 hours or 3 hours it takes to go through there. We want them to stick around for the weekend. We want them to stick around for the week. So they can visit, so we're promoting the museums, like the Purple Museum, Rangers Museum, Mayborn Museum, the park, the zoo, and we've had pretty decent success of getting people to stick around for a bit longer, spend a little more money, trying to get it done. Because our sales tax has gone up considerably over the last 7 or 8 years as well due to these tourists. The Waco experience, I'll touch on that, where we branded ourselves as a city to believe in, which I like the connotation there, that we're showing that we're moving forward. There's also kind of a faith issue there that I like, so I'm glad we landed on that. And I don't know if some people saw in one of the major news stations had Waco as one of the top 5 winter vacation destinations. That was with like Bahamas, I think Montreal was in there, and Waco was right in the top 5. So it was kind of a cool deal. The other impossible thing, and I know it's always been a challenge, when I moved down here in the early 80s, having that river come right through the middle of the city, always just think, man, we've got to capitalize on that somehow. We've got to make that work. And it's tough. There's been some work done over the years and making that river walk there. But as far as just being very intentional about getting from I-35 to downtown, getting that rehab and refurb, that has been a focus of mine in the last 8 years, and will continue to be for the next 2. So I think any vital city needs to have a vital downtown. I think we're seeing that now. So the riverfront with the Foster Pavilion coming across, and you can see the pretty picture there of the fountain, and we're going to put a little bridge in there that we've already funded in last year's budget, and hopefully have it done by the end of next year. And a couple restaurants right there. Elman Bridge Streets, what we're doing over there on downtown. Because to me, downtown is more than, downtown is both sides of the river. Elm Street from Quinn Campus to 13. And to me, that's downtown. We have to focus on getting that all to be a very inviting area. Not sure if anybody's been to the Bridge Street Plaza over there. It's kind of a cool little apartment there. We've got a lot of activation that they've done there. Long-term planning, always important to me. I think most people in here have done annual business planning. At the end of your annual business plan, you talk about, well, what is my company really want to be? And not just 2 years or 5 years, but what do we want to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And the easy answer, at least in experience has always been, you want to be the best, financial services company we can be. Well, yeah, but how do you get there? What is your roadmap? So that exercise forces you to say, okay, I'm going to do these 8, 10 things will help me get there to be the best. So we went through that exercise as a city, specifically for downtown. And we got the Hunt Development Group, some really world-class folks to help us think through it. The Hunt Development Group, Gensler, Hunden, Oberlin, a lot of folks to help us. And they kind of came up with this, again, this isn't approved money spent, but we're saying if you want to be a world-class downtown, here's some of the things that you could do. So we have 5 different phases. You see the picture in front of it in the trailer, saw it on the news recently. And we are going to start launching phase 1 with not the commitment to do all 5 phases, but the commitment to get phase 1 out of the way and let people know that we are serious about working on our downtown. Tourism remains strong. Spring 2024 attendance at attractions was actually up year over year, so we want to make sure that continues. So we're happy there. The last item I have is impossible, and working on it is quality job creation. And that's a tough one, and it really has, in my mind, has to do with reducing our poverty rate too. Because as I mentioned, Waco, the poverty rate is higher than most other cities in Texas, most certainly higher than other states in the nation. And there's with all the new businesses that are coming in town, we can address that. So connecting those residents with these new jobs coming in, we're being very intentional about workforce training. And you'll see over on the branch site there, job upskilling. We've got a partnership that we put together with the county and TSTC about job upskilling, where we were right out there in the industrial district with the $25 million building and programs to help these new businesses that are coming to town. They need certain mechanics to work on a certain kind of machinery. We're able to train that person before they get here and certify them and get them up to speed on what that job takes. So with that, and graphic packaging, the big company we were talking about a bit ago, we are currently training up people for those jobs in this program. So to me, we're seeing like a step ahead of the job needs. Because workforce is important. Workforce is what keeps you from is the gating issue of bringing these super large companies in. Because they're not going to come in if they know they can't find employees to work there. So job upskilling is important. We're starting a STEM center, science, technology. What's the other one called? Math, English, engineering. All right, so we're at the Bledsoe location. We're going to be opening a STEAM center early next year, actually, or mid next year. Mostly for high school, grade school kids, and we've got a lot of folks, AV, SpaceX, Baylor, TSTC, MCC, all willing to come in and help us with the programming and the curriculum on that. Another important part of bringing in new businesses is the housing. This council's been very proactive in finding areas for housing. We actually did a whole housing study. The basic study said you need to have 50,000, I'm rounding numbers here, but you need to have 50,000 living units. And we only have like 40, low 40s, 44, 45,000. And so building that gap and trying to figure out what are the best ways to do this. The city's been pretty proactive and intentional in building housing and creating space for housing. You'll see it before the KC Stadium, we turned that into a whole housing development there. The riverfront, you heard a little bit about that. Cameron Park, we have some pocket neighborhoods. It's important to get these back in urban areas where we already have the infrastructure in place. Because a lot of people don't want to move into the city, We've got streets there, water there already, so it's important that we have a pocket neighborhoods in Cameron Park. You see one on Sanger, the little bit where the school used to be. On 15th Street, Taylor Street, several spots where we are focusing on housing. So anyway, again, to wrap it up here, I'm sorry here. But yeah, the necessary, possible, the impossible. We've kind of gone through each one of those. And I will just one last thing is on strong partnerships. I think very important for the city to maintain strong partnerships, which we do across the way with the county, the chambers of commerce, the charitable foundations, the schools, faith community, neighborhoods, state and federal, and nonprofits. It's important to be marching in the same direction. So with that, I will open it up for questions and discussion. Maybe this is good for Sharon.
So with digital divide being very prevalent in Waco, 30% of all nation is very useful apartments for audiences. Education is going to be key. Other major cities have delved into local ISPs and pretty much forced their hand to upgrade their infrastructure and do whatever. We're just Waco saying that education is important and citizens children home that don't have internet. I've seen children in many restaurants at 12 o'clock in the morning with their school laptops trying to work.
Let's try to get to the broadband. Some questions around broadband. And we are working with the city and we're actually working with the state to improve broadband and making it available for folks everywhere in the community, and particularly at our libraries, which is a place that we want to make sure that they can dial in and get to be where they need to be. Because you're right, I mean, we're on the cutting edge of information is power, right? And being able to access that information on the internet and broadband access is super important. So first of all, making sure our libraries have hotspots where you can get on, but we're also working with the state to expand that program. Aaron?
The city's put a lot of emphasis on downtown redevelopment, and it looks beautiful compared to when we first moved here decades ago. But so many of those small businesses, and I've consulted with a lot of them, have gone out of business. We have a lot of vacancies of those small businesses up and down Austin Avenue. I've consulted with a lot of them, and they say people come in town, they do silos, they do Baylor, but what can we do to help those small businesses on Austin Avenue? And but we've done all that redevelopment, but there are empty storefronts.
Yeah, it's Aaron. Just Aaron's questions about just downtown redevelopment and maybe having some of the businesses struggle. That's definitely an issue, and part of it is I don't remember pre-COVID. We had, I think, the whole silos. We had 3.2 million people a year coming to the silos, which actually was more than the Alamo. So COVID hit, and we kind of kept going. So now I think we're about 60% of that peak. So we're keeping an eye on that. And some of it is the increased tax burden of some of these downtown businesses, but again, definitely we want to be shopping downtown. But people continue to Terry Black's and some other businesses coming in. It's competitive. But I don't know, we'll look at maybe some kind of downtown tax break down there too, as this property taxes going up on the business side. I don't want to see small businesses suffering there either. Any other questions? In the back.
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the poverty rate in Waco, and that also follows over in the McLennan County as well. And those folks need medical care, and I know you've been there many times on good occasions. Waco Family Medicine provides excellent medical care to everyone who's in need, also to insured people for any who need new doctors. But one thing that you didn't mention on your partnerships, I know the city of Waco does contribute funds every year to Waco Family Medicine, which helps things keep rolling. It's a vital service, very important to Waco and the county. Can we count on that continuing or even improving in the years to come?
Absolutely, good question. The question is about Waco Family Medicine and really our public health initiatives here in the city and the county, which is that whole dynamic or big pharma. It's hard for me as a business guy, an investment banker, to resolve. I don't want to make it too much of a macro issue, but how does costs continue to go up? One of our biggest items in the budget this year is health insurance for our employees. And that is keeping us from having as high a budget as we had last year, just coming down. Particularly the Waco Family Medicine, which I'm glad you brought that up. Dr. Griggs is great over there. That whole team has done a fantastic job. I don't know if anybody's gone over there on Culver the 13th. I encourage you to go over there and just take a look of the new facilities there. Very impressive layout. And what struck me was the number of people that are using it. I mean, when I went over there was hundreds of people that needed help there. So it's counterintuitive to me when we see like the fall close, when we know the mental health needs are at an all-time high, when we see, I know it's business decisions, when we see Ascension and Baylor Scott White having to make tough decisions on healthcare services. Waco Family Medicine is moving in the right direction, and we actually have a group that I'm also a part of, in addition to all the stuff that Larry's talking about, with the healthcare leaders in the community, trying to figure out how we continue to fund and what services we need to focus on. And I think we'll see some fruits of those discussions here in the next 6 or 8 months. But you're right, Mr. Sawyer. Yes, one more. Wrap up, one more.
Okay, so Jim, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're all thrilled to have you as the mayor. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
It's really great that you're on this start. So today I can't water the lawn, but it's raining outside, so I guess that's a good thing. And I may be the only guy in the room, but, I understand that we want to preserve the infrastructure. That's really important. Everything is responsible. We're all like that. I understand in Robinson, they don't ration water, they just allow you to pay more for it if you need more water. Whereas in Waco, we have a lot of controls and smart meters and things around how we can use the water resource. I just wonder if there's a different way that we can create a culture of conservationism rather than having City Hall dictate to us when we can use the water.
Yeah, it's a question about water and rain and drought. Yeah, that was a tough one for me, frankly, because I'm like a free market guy, so you pay more, whatever. But I was convinced that we looked, particularly in the context of the drought that we were in last year, making tough decisions. Where what are the 4 ways of the solutions we had? One of them was raising the water level of the lake level, which it's expensive. We've risen it to about as high as it can go. Those last 7 feet don't really evaporate so quickly because it's such a big flat top. That's a 50-year solution, like $1 billion. The second one we had is working with the PRA, the Brazos River Association, closer to trying to tap into that river. That water is a little more brackish, and we have to go through a different filtration system than what we have, but still viable. So we are starting that. A third solution was potable water versus non-potable. In other words, a lot of businesses are using perfectly drinkable water when they can be using non-potable. But that creates a purple pipe nightmare where we have to kind of an expensive solution. It makes a lot of sense. The fourth one was conservation, which didn't cost anything. So we decided to look and see what other peer cities were doing. We checked all the cities in Texas, in the South. And a lot of them had the 2 days a week, and charging more the more you use. We decided, I think our first round out of talks was 2 days a week. I said, let's do 3 and see how that works. And we just started it earlier this month, and I know it makes more sense in the middle of the summer when you can feel the drought or, non-rain coming on. We've had a very wet July. I hope it rains all week. It looks like it's not going to get out of the 80s, which is great. But that was a decision, a tough one. But I think we're still a little more liberal on use of the water than other peer cities. What we're making sure of, what I want to make sure of, and I think we saw an announcement on this today, is that the cities or the communities to which we sell water, we gotta make sure they're as conservative, conservative water like we are. So I don't want to sell to Marina or whoever, and notice, they have unlimited watering, and they're buying our water. So we're working those kinks out. We just started the program here a few weeks ago. But I appreciate the concern. Anybody else? Mayor, yes, one question.
My name is Mike. I just want to say something on behalf of, I'm Mayor. I don't think most people kind of think in the back of their mind, well, the mayor says do something, he just happens, staff all runs and does it. But the mayor doesn't really, first of all, they've got to build consensus among the city council. And Jim is doing an amazing job there. Mayor Holmes is just amazing there. The other thing is then the city manager and his staff have got to pull it all off. I don't know how to explain it. It's a strong city manager form of government that we have, and the mayor is a spokesman. But not only, it's just a very complex job, and I think we owe Jim Holmes a huge round of applause for not only coming today, but what he is doing this. Please.
I think she said your face. Well, thank you, Mayor, for being part of Rotary today. We have a standing invitation anytime you want to come back. And we want everyone to join us next week. We're going to host Carolyn Best with the Waco Symphony. So we hope you'll join us. I said next week, I'm sorry, August 12th. So thank you to Larry and thank you to Chris for all your help with the program today. We'd like to re-welcome our guests. Please come back and be a part of Rotary. We're glad you're here. And if you will now stand and join me in reciting the pledge. Thank you so much, Rotary.